all of us know about ChatGPT, and that made generative AI very popular. Now, generative AI at the core has LLMs, which are large language models, right? There are so many vendors out there like OpenAI, Microsoft, Google, Anthropic, AWS, and many more coming up uh, on the horizon. So you may ask, why not just use it, right? I mean, just use ChatGPT, so on and so forth, right? But what are these custom LLMs? Okay, so depending on your domain, right? If you are like a military or a hospital, right, there could be some privacy concerns of kind of going to a public cloud, right? You may want to have a control, right? If it's some government uh, institution like Pentagon, right, or maybe some countries like China, right? uh, you may want to keep some competitive advantage, right? Like, when these GPTs came up, Bloomberg GPT was one of the popular one that Bloomberg trained for financial data, right? And you want to kind of keep it to yourself, right? Or to your industry, right? Also, though there are so many players, there isn't real standard out there, even for the APIs, right? So, let's say, for example, if you use OpenAI and a ChatGPT, it may have one API versus if you use Azure OpenAI, it may have slightly different API, right? So, if you choose to go with OpenAI, you are locked in with that vendor. You may not want to do that, okay? Uh, Now, cloud is so reliable. So, I mean, this reliability may not be that much of a concern, but you still may have heard about like, these big sites going down, right? I mean, it may happen, right? If there is some sort of, a global crisis, right? So, if it is with yourself, right, it might be the reliability is to yourself, okay? And the last but not least, I mean, might be some places sometimes where you may not be, uh, you know, uh, wanting an external network connection. So in that case, obviously, you want to use this sort of a custom LLM locally, okay? So in this particular video, we are not going to talk about how to build these LLMs. That's a different video, different topic altogether. But once you have such custom LLMs, how do you use them? Okay. So first thing is you want to host them, right? The popular ways of hosting are like Lorax, VLLM, right, which are little programmatic, right? Ollama is becoming more popular because it's user friendly and also gives full API control to it, right? GPT for all is again user friendly, doesn't have as much API support. LLM is a Python program. H2O GPT is more popular for its RAG, retrieval augmented general uh, control, which is basically where you can give your custom data. So I have a blog on Medium, right, which talks about these 13 different ways of serving LLMs. So if you want to go through the details, you can go to that blog, which will talk about kind of pros and cons of each of these approaches, right? I mean, there are even these private GPT and all, right? But this H2 GPT is for RAG, right? This LLM is just a Python package, right? Ollama is becoming more popular. GPT for all is a like a nice GUI, right? VLLM and Lorax are programmatic. Lorax has a lot of features that you can use for hosting the LLMs. Okay. Now, having said that, today we are going to look at Ollama, which is kind of very user friendly and very popular. So how do you use it? Obviously, you go to ollama.com, right? Once you go to that site, right, simple thing you download, right? It has support for all three popular platforms, right? It already figured out I'm using Windows, so it gave me option to download. It doesn't take that long, but it will be a little longish for this video. So I've already downloaded and installed it on my laptop. Okay. It also gives a little bit of documentation how to use it. But what you can do is you can also explore the models. Okay. So uh, Llama 3 becoming most popular amongst programmers, right? However, it has only large version, right? Which may not fit in on my laptop. It's like, uh, B billion is like a gigabyte, right? And half of that, because of quantization, is like a size of it, like 43 GB. Okay. DeepSeek became more popular very recently, right? Now it has all the variations starting from 1.5 to 70 billion, or in fact 671 billion. It's like a huge sort of a model, right? So you can actually uh, even see that, right? But it's very huge, right? I mean, it's like 404 GB, right? So you need a good size server for that. Okay, so kind of rough again, the rule of thumb here, right? Even 1 billion is having basic knowledge. 10 billion can follow instructions, so like a chatbot and all would need that type of model, right? So if you go in this range, right, 7 billion, 8 billion, that is the one that you want to use. And now if you want to go for a really rich knowledge, then you go with 100 billion, right? So this 671 billion would be a really rich model, right? Depending on your application, you may want to choose these models. Okay. Okay, now what you do after you download and install Ollama, right? I mean, the first thing you can do is you just say Ollama run, right? So which is what I have done here, but uh, let me come out and show you that it's pretty quick, right? So I did a Ollama run. Now, if you do it for the first time, it will actually download this uh, model and then run it, right? Then you say, what is Ollama, right? I mean, this is you use your all prompt engineering or whatever questions you type to chat GPT, right? Right, so now it said it's an AI assistant created by Meta, right? It's done by Meta, right? Key features, right? So it did a pretty good job of uh, sort of saying this, right? Now what is other thing you can do with Ollama, right? You can even serve the model, right? So for that you have to run Ollama, right? Which it automatically does after you install, right? So this is my running Ollama, right? So it's showing it's running, right? So you can update it, right? You can quit, you can view logs, right? But after you serve it, what do you do? I mean, you can use the rich APIs and sort of query it using your Python code. Okay, so what are the APIs? So I have documented very simple APIs, right? So this 1.py, so use a LangChain community, right? From that you import package Ollama, right? You use the give the model and you invoke, right? So you query, uh, right? So I mean you are doing it programmatically here, right? A little more rich would be like use a Ollama LLM, right? That can use a prompt template. So in the prompt template, I can give like a little bit of instructions like let's think step by step, or I can make question as a parameter to this prompt, and I say question is what is Ollama. Okay. Now it may take a while to run these, so I have again already run these, right, to show you how it looks, right? Uh, so if I run this 1.py, right, so it basically says uh, it's a platform for LLMs, right, like GPT, Chat GPT, right, key features, the same thing, right, which is what we got from uh, our Ollama run, right? Okay, other key thing, I mean, typically when you do a Python, you may want to create a virtual environment, right, and then install whatever packages that are required, right? So would be LangChain, Ollama, Ollama LLM, right? Depending on whatever you want to do. Okay, so this is 1.py, right? When I did a 2.py, right? Now this was step by step, right? So it did a little more elaborate answering, right? So actually, uh, Ollama are four different things. So these are AI assistant, right? Which is what we first saw. But there is also like it's also a blockchain platform. Okay, it's also a naming convention. It's also a browser tool, right? So if you go through the detailed answer, you'll see. I mean, it kind of figured that out. It said, "Oh, I'm a bit confused, right? And what do you want?" So it summarized that. Okay, so that's it for custom LLMs, right? So we basically saw why we need custom LLMs, right? We kind of saw the different options of sort of hosting them locally, right? And we looked at Ollama as one of the options. Okay, so good luck playing with custom LLMs and generative AI and building generative AI applications. If you like the video, click the like button, subscribe to my channel, and see you in my next video. Good luck.